Hello guys, I'm July Angelo Eligio from BSEE3B, and in this video I will going to compare two processors which are Intel Celeron N4500, which is my processor, and AMD 3020. So first, we're going to compare its physical cores, which they have both the same dual core, and their threads is also the same with two. But base clock speed, AMD 3000E has 1.2 GHz and Intel Celeron N4500 has 1.1 GHz. Both clock speed. AMD 3020 has 2.6 GHz while Intel Celeron has 2.8 GHz. L1 cache. AMD 3020 has 192 kilobytes while Intel Celeron N4500 has no data. And for L2 cache, AMD 3020 has 1 megabyte and Intel Celeron N4500 has 1.5 megabytes. And for L3 cache, AMD 3020 has 4 MB and the same with Intel Celeron N4500, which is also 4 MB. And for chip lithography, AMD 3020 has 410 nanometer technology while Intel Celeron N4500 has 10 nanometer technology. And for its maximum core temperature, AMD 3000E has 105 degrees Celsius, and the same with Intel Celeron and 4500. And for Windows 11 compatibility, AMD 3020 is not compatible with Windows 11, while Intel Celeron is compatible. While for the number of CPUs and configuration, I have the data for 3000E AMD and Intel Celeron N4500 has one. And for the socket, AMD has FT5, and for Intel Celeron N4500 is FCBGA1338. And for the thermal design power, AMD has 6 watts, and also the same with Intel Celeron N4500. I got this data from Technical City. And for their features, AMD 3020 has XFR, FMA3, SSE 4.2 version, AVX2, and SMT, while Intel Celeron N4500 has Intel UHD graphics, or the 16 EUs range is 350 to 750 MHz, QuickSync AES NI with a maximum 16 gigabytes quad channel LPDDR4X 2933. And for the GPU, AMD 3020 has AMD Radeon RX Vega, ranges 1000 MHz. And for Intel Celeron and for 500, it has Intel UHD graphics from Jasper Lake 16 EU, ranges 350 to 750 MHz. And for 64-bit, they has the same 64-bit support. And for their architecture, they have both x86 family. And I got this data from Notebook Check. And for the other data, which I got from Technical City, V prime 32M is a math multi-thread processor test which calculates square roots of 32 million integer number. Its result is measured in seconds so that the less is benchmark result, the faster the processor. So in this test, Celeron F500 is the faster processor because it has less benchmark. And for the another test, which is X24 encoding plus 1, X264 version 0.40 is a version encoding benchmark, uses MPEG 4x264 compression method to compress a sample HD 720 video. Pass 1 is a faster variant that produces a constant bit rate output file. Its result is measured in frames per second, which means how many frames of the source video while encoded per second. So in this test, 3020 E has the upper hand. So for our next test, which is the Passmark CPU. Passmark CPU is a widespread benchmark consisting of eight different types of workload, including integer and floating math, extended instructions, compression, encryption, and physics calculation. This is also one separate threaded scenario measuring single core performance. So in this test, Celeron N4500 and AMD 3020 is almost the same. So for our last test that we got from Technical City, which is X264 encoding pass 2, X264 pass 2 is a slower variant of X264 video compression that produces a variable bitrate output file, which results is better and better quality since the higher bit rate is used when it is needed more. Benchmark result it is still measured in frame per second, and the result is almost the same. So for our gaming benchmark, this test is from Technical City. So this processor matches 84% minimum and 74% recommended requirements of all games. So it says that AMD 3020 has 84% minimum and 74% recommended requirements of all games known to us, for example, the Dota 2 and League of Legends. And also, for the Celeron N4500, this processor matches 77% minimum and 67% recommended requirements, so it is lower compared to AMD 2020. So here are the latest laptops which has the processor AMD 3020E and the Celeron N4500, and compared to their prices, AMD 3020 processor has the cheaper price compared to Celeron N4500. So in summary, AMD 2020 sales last August 4, 2022, 2020 I mean. This is Gene Architecture notebook processor which primarily aimed at office systems. So it is not focused on gaming. It is has two cores and two threads and is based on 40 nanometer manufacturing technology with a maximum frequency of 2600 MHz and a lock multiplier. Compatibility wise, this is a FT5 processor with a thermal or TDP of 6 watts. So it provides poor benchmark performance at 2.29%. So for our Intel Celeron 4500, it is started last January 11, 2021. This is a Jasper Lake architecture notebook processor which primarily aimed at office system. Also, it is more focused on office system and not on gaming. It has two cores and two threads and is based on 10 nanometer manufacturing technology with a maximum frequency of 2800 MHz and a lock multiplier. Compatibility wise, this is a FCBGA 1338 processor with a thermal design power of 6 watts and it supports a double data rate for memory. So it is lower compared to AMD 3020, which has 2.29, and Celeron has only 1.73%. So for our chart cost of performance analysis, the data I provided here is from the notebook check based on their performance percent. So for our cost is for their our further laptop price. And for our summary conclusion, based on the data above, I can conclude that Intel Celeron N4500 is more powerful in terms of raw computational ability and productivity test, while AMD 3020 has the upper hand in terms of overall gaming performance. In terms of its price, I could say that Intel Celeron 4000 N45 is more expensive compared to AMD 2020. And for the sites I use and I got the data, you can check this technical city and notebook check.